started. And did you share everything out there?
Yep, we're ready.
Cool.
We are live, sir.
All right. Hello and welcome to Nintendo Nostalgia, episode 119. I'm your host, Jacob Rush, and I'm joined by my co-host, Ryan Black, and we are back. We are playing with power. And everybody, people may be watching this live. People may not be watching this live and listening to it later on in the week. It's entirely up to you, but we wanted to try something fun and new. And today, Ryan and I are starting our second in-depth analysis of a beloved Nintendo game, and that game is The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. And we're streaming it live. We're playing through it. Ryan's going to be at his own home playing the game, streaming it through his computers, and I will be talking somewhat. We're going to have a conversation. We're just going to take you through the game, and we're just going to relive some nostalgic memories here, guys. And we don't feel free to comment in the sections. We'll try to read them if you have any comments, or if you just even want to just chime in here and there. We'll try to dive into your messages as much as we can. So we hope that you can join us here live. But if not, and you listen later on the week, I listen to most of my podcasts, honestly, pre-recorded. So that's totally cool too. But we're not going to waste any time. We're going to go ahead and get started with this first run through. And we're hoping to, we hope to get through the Great Deku Tree here, so we will give it our best shot. So, but before Ryan, you start the game. Ryan, how are you doing? Are you excited? Are you nervous?
I am super nervous. This is our first big live recording, so yeah, I'm nervous, but it'll be fun once I get into it. I hope I don't make a fool of myself, especially when I'm jumping down off that top ledge in the Deku Tree and I miss the web completely several times. I did that in my earlier playthrough. Oh, that was so embarrassing.
No worries, man. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started. Before we get, I just want to, that intro that you just had right there, as you were watching Link, we saw the Nintendo 64 symbol pop up, and you hear the horse trotting, and it's Link riding across this beautiful field. Guys, take yourselves back to the late 90s when this game came out, mid to late 90s, and this was Breath of the Wild. Everyone's glorifying that game right now again, with it being just the 2-year anniversary a week ago when it came out, and reliving it. And that's what Ocarina of Time was for the 90s. At the time, this was groundbreaking games here, and they did what we thought could never be possible. And of course, Nintendo's done that time and time again. But just that whole intro, it's not what you'd expect from a Zelda game, It's beautiful and it's grand. Ryan, talk about that intro scene just for a minute before we get started here.
Just the piano right there at the beginning is just so beautiful. And I think it's interesting that it transitions to different snippets of the gameplay, different cutscenes, if you will, of the time. You're like, well, who's this bandaged and masked character in this lava area, and who are these two witches on their brooms laughing maniacally? What is this? And just getting a feel for that, and seeing Ganondorf riding across on a horse with fire on the I guess the border there, and it's so cool just to see. I don't know what this is, but it looks epic. And I remember watching that intro several times before I started the game as a kid, and just being in awe of this amazing display that they had, and galloping on a horse through fields. I get to do that. That is so awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. It was again, a funny thing for me was, because everyone should know, unless you're new to the show, that Ocarina of Time wasn't my first Zelda experience. By the time I got to this game, I really I had experienced the Majora's Mask, and I had started to see promotional material for like the Wind Waker, and I was honestly getting involved with a whole new different art style for Zelda. So to revisit this game when it came out to the GameCube collection on the GameCube, it was special, but I don't think it had as big of a impact as what you would have had when you first got the game. You know, I had already played a generation of 3D gaming, and Zelda was all new to me. I was into honestly the crispier graphics of what the GameCube was offering as opposed to the 64. So in a way, it was kind of like a step down in graphics, and that's not to degrade it. I'm not degrading it. I'm just saying from my perspective, when I originally saw it, it's much different from what yours was.
Yeah, I saw it like early in its life, but you got to see it on special with the GameCube, and we got to go through that together somewhat. And,
yes, we did,
and that was really special too. Like that was my second time through the game since first originally playing it, and just being able to play that with you and get to the different parts and help you through certain parts and just talk about it. It was so cool, so special. All right, we ready to get into this?
Yeah, sorry. I mean, I wanted to pull it down real quick. I do have that collector's edition that I've rebought throughout time right here. But we got it. Promotional includes 4 gaming discs, and gosh, there it is. That's what I use to play this game from the first time, and it definitely has some special memories. And you're right, I did play this game mainly with you, through you. I mean, I played a lot of it on my own, obviously, but you helped me through a lot of it. And this was really, it was all building up to the Wind Waker, which is my favorite Zelda game. And this game, it took me on even though it wasn't my first game introduced into the series, this was what the first time I really I started to understand what Zelda really was, and that it was much deeper and it was much grander of a franchise than what I had come to know at that point. And it really, honestly, led me down to becoming a massive Zelda fan, deeply rooted into it. There's this game here playing on the GameCube. So yeah, right here, obviously we have that beautiful intro file select here.
I think you said it was the fairy music that plays here. I think we talked about that in last week's episode.
Mm-hmm. It's in every Zelda game, and it's except for Breath of the Wild, because there's not a file select. But it's I don't know about you. I see you got Link, you got Luke, you got Rhinos. I am always a fan of changing Link's name to my own. I do that because I like to be in the world of in the adventure that I'm going on. And if I have the option, I always change it. No matter what the game is, I change it to my name, simply because when they say Jacob, it makes me feel like they're talking directly to me. Like I really am the hero of this game. And I've always loved that. Now I know somebody like Tom, old man Tom, he's like, Die Hard, you don't change the names, you keep it what it is supposed to be. And which, you know, I can understand that too. Don't get me wrong, like I enjoy playing, like I don't like Donkey Kong. I play as Donkey Kong, you know, and I totally get that. But when I have the option, I really like to make it myself, you know. Are you more of a traditionalist, keep the name the same, or do you have a nickname for it, or do you put it under Ryan?
My gamer name growing up, oddly enough, I just wanted to be called by my middle name, which is Michael, but like shortened to Mike. So I started out as Ryan, and I played through like the first Deku Tree thing, and I hopped off of that quickly and started File 2 shortly after that, and named it Mike, and I went that way. So that was kind of what I decided to do. I don't know, I felt weird being called my own name. And I always like to have this different alias for when I play online and stuff for whatever reason. It's just always been my style. So, like even like most of my characters were named Mike growing up through middle school.
Yep.
And then I adopted a couple others like Metroid Hunter and Black Phoenix or B Phoenix and all that stuff. So,
for sure.
Changed over the years. All right, we ready to get into this?
I think we're ready, man. Let's fire this baby up.
All right. 000. 3 hearts. I'm gonna keep it Link for everybody's playthrough, just so no one gets little like, who the heck is that, or whatever, you know.
Sure.
Keep it authentic. There you go, Tom. So this is pretty ominous. Just a black screen with white letter, and you're like, okay, what's happening next? What's gonna go on? Like, just the intro. You see this boy sleeping.
Children of the Forest, the Creaky,
Kokiri?
Kakiri, sorry, live here with me. It's just the Great Deku Tree narrating all this, which we don't really know who he is really at this time if you were to start this game. One boy who does not have a fairy.
So supposedly the boy is supposed to be sleeping. Apparently Link sleeps with his eyes open. But he's having nightmares. And it cuts to what he's seen in his mind's eye.
Ooh, look at the grand castle, Ryan. How the gates just glow in the stormy nights. Again, this was never seen before in gaming like this for Nintendo. This is mind-blowing. This is people's fantasies coming to life here.
Oh, he's terrified.
In Ganondorf. You're like, who is that?
Ever since that scene, I've always wanted to take down Ganondorf with young Link. It's just...
You don't even know who Ganondorf is at this time, you know? Like,
yeah.
We've only known who Ganon is. And it was really quite a spin to introduce a human form of Ganon.
So here's the intro of Navi, arguably one of the most annoying video game characters in existence. I actually am very fond of Navi. My text tone, my alarm tones often have "Hey, listen" over and over and over again to the annoyment of all of my housemates and wife and everything. So I don't know.
The Great Deku Tree basically summoning Navi to go be with Link because he doesn't have a fairy, correct?
Correct. Yeah, he's the fairless boy. That's so he gets his own fairy. I think the way the lore is Kokiri are like born and they have a fairy with them or something like that, like a guardian, like right from birth, and so like he doesn't have one. So it's kind of weird that he's without. But he's still raised nonetheless, like everyone else in the Kokiri forest. This is kind of an interesting shot because you see like the bobbing up and down of the fairy. Then you have this like weird blurry blob in the background. You have no real sense for what it is that's talking.
At the moment, yeah. For the forest now, the world depends upon me. So it definitely sets you up, the Great Deku Tree, that something big is happening now.
So this music paired with like the flying around in first person mode is... This captured a part of me, like as a kid, like this magical feeling of flying, and that instantly like hooked me on this game. Just, I was like, wow, this is what flying feels like. It was my first real experience of flying in a video game, to say, like, especially in like a home console experience. And then the bump there when it hits the fence, it's so cute.
It is cute and it's magical, you know, and. To say, to be fair, at this time, the only thing of fairies I really knew were anything from like Disney, in my opinion. Hello, Link, wake up. The Great Deku Tree wants to talk to you. Link, get up.
So I connect on a deep level with this scene right here because I enjoyed sleeping through every little thing that goes on and someone trying to incessantly try to wake me up, and so like I instantly was taken into this like role and I felt like I was this character because I was just sleeping while someone was trying to get me awake. I don't know why I connected that as a kid.
Well, that's the funny thing too, is that Link in every game, I think he starts off waking up.
Calling him a lazy boy.
Yeah. Most games he's waking up to start off this adventure from some kind of a nap. Man, look at those sweet polygonal graphics. That background even kind of looks fake. His bed kind of blends into the wall there.
It'd be great to see this like graphically overhauled to today's graphics.
It really would. I know they've already redone it once, man, but I would love to see it redone like, one more time, just in full glory HD. So yeah, we got Link's little house here. There's not much to it really. It's just his his crib, where he hangs out. So
You find here
um,
you can, if you just press the A button or the blue button of the original controls, like it summons Navi and then puts Navi away if you're standing still.
that music plays in most places, most indoor houses.
Yeah.
It's not just unique to his area.
So we have, I say Soraya. I'm thinking that's how you pronounce it.
I say Sarah. That's what I've always said.
She runs up and says hi, Link. Gets greeted. Then you have to learn the mechanic of climbing down a ladder, and then you'll notice the down option. So if you hit the action button, you'll drop down off the ladder. You can walk up to her. There's a little blue cursor, I guess, over her head. Kind of reminds you of The Sims. I know it didn't remind me of that then, but like that's the likening to it.
Today, yeah. Wow, a fairy. So she's pretty excited. You got your own fairy, because Link's never had a fairy. He's the only one in the village to not have a fairy. That's great
And I like
news.
she's generally happy for him. Like that's something I'm sure that I think there's some kind of connection here, more than just like childhood friends. And she's happy to see finally he has this thing that defines Kokiris.
Right, right.
She's talking about how the Great Deku Tree summoned her and how great of an honor it is. So it gives you this idea of this person you're going to see is sacred. You can wander around. You can read signs. There's little green cursors that appear over it. It lets you know different locations, like Link's house. There's a little doodle here. I always wondered what it was about. I think it was just kids like slaying a dinosaur. Oh, there's our first hay. So Navi is wanting to say something.
Listen.
Very, very impatient fairy. Let me tell you.
So we get to Ryan. Once we run around the area here,
Sure.
at this time we really don't get to even know like what to do. Like you just collected a rupee. If you're a fan of the series, you know what a rupee is. But you want to go to the Great Deku Tree, so I guess we're supposed to go find him. So your natural reaction is, well, let's go the way we just came. So I guess, do you want to go ahead and just run and show people? Let's remind them of how annoying this guy is who we're about to encounter. He's very annoying. I do distinctly remember like
Mido, I think is his name.
Stupid is his name. That's what I call him.
That's not very nice.
No fairy. What's your business with the Great Deku Tree? Like he's just a punk, man. Like get out of the way here. You're not even a real man without a fairy. Oh, that's the only thing to say.
Trying to put someone else down.
That's right. Why would he summon you and not the great Midu? Midu or Midu, whatever. This is so funny. Yeah, so he's just kind of in your way. So, of course, it can't just be an easy shot to the Deku Tree. That would be absurd, right? We don't want that. We want you need a sword and a shield. So we get sent basically on a little quest to find a sword and shield, which is great. I want to just highlight why this little part actually is important, because it's going to start teaching us. We're running in a little playground here, kind of like even Mario 64, how you had a playground to run and play in. We get to figure out mechanics to the game, the simple mechanics of rolling, picking things up. Like he wants you to cut grass. It's going to show you what the sword can even do. But we got to find that sword first. So clearly, let's go ahead and try to find that sword, Ryan. Now, when it's your first time through, if you don't have a player's guide, you're not really going to know directly where to go. We know where to go because we've played this game a couple times. Oh, look at here. The shop, item shop, teaches you how to lock onto characters and talk right away.
Definitely something. This is, like you said, just a playground to get you accustomed to how controls work and how to do things in this world. Interesting to note, there's a little cutout on the right-hand side there, a little alcove that you can access later in the game with I think it's the magic beans that takes you up there. I think there might be a piece of heart up there or something like that. So I'm going to walk in here really quickly just to reset the rupee jump. So every time you go across this, you get 5 rupees. Helps to build up your money because you do have to purchase a shield here in a second. But we'll go ahead and go get the sword. I don't think I ever go in here. I don't remember what's in here either. The Know-It-All Brothers. I'm guessing it's just like a tutorial house, but I don't ever remember going in there as a kid.
Honestly, I think I skip it entirely. I don't recall what's in there. But you probably should read. Does that sign explain to us, or?
I was just telling you how to Z target. So, yeah, let's talk to sign. Hold Z.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember which one is Z.
Oh, that's right. You're not directly playing on a regular
no
64 controller, are you?
Nope.
It's the back trigger, man. It's the back trigger.
Oh, no, he's got to hit A when you walk up to the tunnel.
That makes sense, too.
So here you're presented with a little maze to go find the sword. You gotta be careful because you never know when a giant boulder's gonna roll around and squash you.
Uh-huh. The sea.
Ow.
Oh, wow. It's behind you. Good job, Ryan.
Gotta be an example here.
So those C buttons help us with the camera, correct?
Yes.
So that's
well, the C buttons are items. You can use the camera control by looking forward, or hitting up on the C buttons, if you will. But the other ones are where you can equip items to them to quick draw different things, sticks and Deku nuts and boomerangs.
First cutscene to get something special, something that's become so classic now for Zelda games.
Isn't that fanfare just so rewarding to hear? Yes.
It's very, very rewarding to open up a chest and you get something big. It's like, what's the mystery? What is this? What are we getting? What are you getting? Ba-na-na-na.
I like how you're borrowing it. So all of the iterations of Young Link, even in Smash Brothers today, it's just a borrowed sword. He doesn't actually own it.
That's very true. I never really thought about that.
Gives you some things to test slashing with your sword in here.
Uh-huh. Just being able to control the camera on this, like, that was just so unique and new. When you first could do this, it just gave you so much more control over a game and your vantage points than you ever had.
I believe it's Z that you use to recenter your vision. So whichever area you're pointing to, if you hit Z, you'll look that way. So if I'm looking this way, hit Z, and I'm looking the other way, I need to look. Gotcha. So I've got a sword now. I can chop these down.
Some hearts, some rupees. What will we find? Yeah, well, yeah, we better. We need to get a.
So I always feel bad when I do that. You can't read them anymore when you cut them down.
I think it's kind of cool. Like, oh yeah, look at that power that you have.
Oh, I didn't know you could actually get rupees from them. That's something I never knew. Huh.
Yeah, I didn't really realize that either.
Unless that was a glitch. Huh, that's kind of cool. So I think 30 is enough to buy the shield that I need. I could be wrong here, but let's find out.
I want to say it's a little more expensive than that.
It could be 50. Let's find out. 40. Ah.
Yep.
Okay,
so get back out there. Get back out there. Start
grinding
cutting some
of
grass,
the time,
man. Start cutting some grass.
Good old grinding for money. Oh, I'm striking out here.
Just go up there. Yeah. Or throw some rocks.
Nope.
Nothing.
Oh man.
What do you think of the music here?
Very light, very upbeat, very cheery. You kind of want to do a little bit of a dance to it. Nothing too like heart bumping or anything.
Some good rupees on the top of that bridge, man.
On the bridge?
Well, just go ahead and throw those rocks. Run the grass there. You're already over there. Yeah, just throw those rocks around. Now the people really give this game some good credit. Again, for the music, for I think it's awesome. I know our artist Kyle Martin, this game to him is GOAT, and I think nostalgia is obviously clearly tied in with that. You know, and I think that again, I come from a different perspective to where like this wasn't my first main Zelda game, you know, so I have to disagree when people say that this is the greatest soundtrack. Do I think it's fine? Yeah, it's fine. It fits the scene, you know. It does what it needs to do. And if this was my first intro into gaming, it would be more impactful. That's what's so crazy about nostalgia for everybody, is that it's where you are as a person, where your character is. You got enough money, woohoo! It's just all different from a different perspective to see, like I just taught you how to really look around. You may not have known that if this is new to 3D gaming. But let's go buy that shield.
All right.
No need to save our money, man. We just want to buy some stuff.
It's okay. I picked up some extra. Never hurts to have a little extra.
That's right. Perfect. The Deku shield. And we get to just equip that bad boy on right here.
One thing I really like, when you go into your inventory, you save every time. That's really useful for anybody who is just not used to saving. Like, you know, just every time it prompts you to do that. It's really helpful. Like every time, you know, would you like to save? That's so important. Because, like, I can't tell you how many games that I have not saved because it wasn't insisting like that. I've lost so many game saves, or progress. Hours and hours and hours of progress because I just didn't think to save. So they made a great design choice to put it in the menu like that every time you exit. Yeah,
they most certainly did. Instead of making you save with the Ocarina like they do in Majora's Mask.
Mido is throwing a fit that you have your sword and shield. He still calls him a wimp. Man. He's so annoying. Not quite, I don't know. Not quite the most annoying character in Legend of Zelda, but he's up there for sure. Alright, so here is where we encounter our first enemies.
Okay. You get a Deku stick.
Oh boy.
Shows you how to equip it, explains it, put in the C button inventory there. You don't really know what it does, but again, this game is already like giving you something exciting to have and new. I don't think you had any Deku sticks in the previous Zelda games at this point.
That's, I don't know. I don't know if that was an element somewhere or not.
Okay, Ryan. So this is a big moment here. The Great Deku Tree. I'm back. You see the face now. The big mustache. Eyebrows. Oh, Navidad's return. Link, welcome. Listen carefully to what the Deku Tree, am about to tell you. They slumber these past moons, must have been restless and full of nightmares.
So, growing up in like a Christian setting, very much experienced these and thys and everything, like the old conversation. Sorry, one moment.
It's definitely a scene that is kind of again, I always use grand because I'm trying to place my mind back into what it would have been back in the late 90s or mid to late 90s when you first originally played this game, to see this giant tree that's talking to you, that is he's been kind of the narrator for this whole thing here, and it's been kind of crazy to just see how it is leading up to getting started with this.
Yeah. I apologize for the static here. having some technical difficulties. All right.
Whoops.
Sorry about the static here. We are using aux cable to run the sound into the Google Hangouts, and the gamepad started to die prematurely. So yeah, I apologize for the static, and it's probably going to be. I'm not sure there's much I can do about that until the gamepad's gotten some charge to it, but I will go ahead and turn the sound back on. I have a little bit of a buzz. Well, Jacob, what do you think is the best way to go about this with the buzz being there?
Unless you can't get rid of the buzz, we probably should just keep it quiet.
Okay, I will turn down the mic then. Not the best experience, but
it's okay. I would turn the sound off.
Yep, that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so I apologize. What I can best do is turn up the sound of my TV, and hopefully that'll sound a lot better. Can you guys hear it?
Yep.
Does it seem on time with the video?
Yep.
Cool. All right, we'll do it this way then.
Okay, so let's go ahead and let's explain this ominous area. So, Ryan, what you said you've got the most nostalgia for this. Explain what what was it like coming into this dungeon for the first time? I guess it really kind of, if I can remember it. Deku Nut, congratulations.
Thank you.
It's really exciting because you're finally, I feel like, getting to really play the game now. Like you're getting to experience what we've always wanted to in a Zelda game for everybody who had experienced up to this point. Take us back to your initial thoughts and explain this area of the Deku Tree.
The music was a little creepy, especially as a little kid. I did not like it. Because I think of the Deku, what are they called? The Deku plants, I guess. I'm sorry, I don't know the terminology for those enemies. Okay, Navi, I'll listen. So yeah, seeing those enemies and having that ominous like enemy music when you're close to an enemy, and then this song going on after it, it's a bit forlorn. After you go through the level a bit, you start to get over that and feel like, personally, like I felt a lot better once I got through this, taking down enemies and stuff. It became more wondrous than scary to me.
Mm-hmm. Definitely an area that getting to play through is kind of helps build up some. No, not quite yet there, Ryan.
Oh,
okay.
That doesn't work.
Get a little higher. I always kind of wondered, like, why. Maybe I miss it. Maybe the Deku Tree tells me something. Why does he send it? Why are we in here? Like, why is he like testing us?
He's saying that he's dying.
Oh, because the Ganondorf put a curse on him?
There was a curse put on him, yes.
And
he's dying. I don't remember if he announces he's dying beforehand or if he says it's too late at the end after you've beaten this area. But it's kind of a shock when he announces it. Like, he's not doing so hot, sending you in to take down this curse. It's weird that he asks a little kid to do this, but he knows that legends and destiny have chosen him, so.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting how the Deku Tree got that information in the first place.
Yeah, you can just bypass what Navi says, man. We know what we do. We're professionals, right? So this was a new character for us, really.
We'll see a lot more of him in the future.
Yes, we will. A Deku shrub.
The most useful advice in this entire game right here. Can't tell you how many times I have used that to save my life.
Really? Just to roll like that?
Mm-hmm. How nice of him to give me a heart. They're such tattletales.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're into this next room, and you get to run across. Make sure that block doesn't fall down underneath your feet there. But each dungeon in the game, if you guys can clearly remember, we got to find compasses, we got to find maps. You always get a key item per dungeon as well. And what we just uncovered was the fairy slingshot, which is going to be very handy moving forward, at least for throughout this dungeon, right?
Yes, it's a lot of fun to use if you can get it lined up right. It takes some training to really get a feel for it, but there's that sweet spot. You know where to shoot.
Oh,
I remember getting stuck in here, not figuring this part out, and my uncle figured it out for me when I was playing at my grandparents'.
Oh, really?
Yeah. My first time playing it. I was getting frustrated because I didn't understand what to do, and you just, being older and understanding these things, you knew exactly what to do.
Well, it's kind of funny, like, having kids now myself, like, Deku Siege, you need those for your slingshot. Having kids myself now, like I see that, I'm thinking like, duh, no brainer, shoot where the green fairy is. But it's like,
you don't know that stuff as a little kid at all. Like, you had to learn this stuff at some point in your life, or someone had to show it to you.
Like, Riley wouldn't have known, and I can visually remember. Gotta shoot down those stupid little guys. Ugh. I vividly remember having to waste countless time, honestly. I wasted tons of time in rooms after rooms to just not knowing what I needed to do. And I would do the dumbest stuff, like maybe this will work. Nope. Maybe this will work. Nope. And eventually you just figure it out. Now, I will say, I remember going to Funko Land back in the day and having to look around. And at that time, strategy guides were not wrapped in plastic. Yeah. And I remember just looking through the strategy guide, specifically for the part that I was struggling with, reading it, putting it back, and going home. Just because that was the internet for us back in the day, looking that stuff up. These guys are just ugly, man. How'd you do that?
You what?
You froze.
Yeah, use the Deku Nut.
Oh, I didn't see you use the Deku Nut. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't ever use the Deku Nut as a kid. Like, I
didn't
ever, and it's so useful. Like, apparently, it's really good in Jabu Jabu with the jellyfish.
Huh? Because it kind of paralyzes them, right?
Yeah, and they're a lot easier. They don't shock you when you do that, if I remember right.
Wow, I never knew that. Thanks for informing me. I can remember the next time I play.
Until you get the umbrella. Why did I say umbrella? I meant boomerang. What a weird word to slip on. I've been watching too much Umbrella Chronicles or Umbrella Academy. Wow.
There's our compass to finally get through this crazy dungeon that we're in.
Compasses were never important, like, for anything really.
Yeah.
They just were.
So what's over here behind this guy?
So right now you can't get up there unless you raise the platforms and jump over there. But it's got your first gold Skulltula.
Uh-huh. Okay, now you just pulled out that stick like it was a no-brainer, but we talk about in Breath of the Wild how it's really cool how we can like line our swords up and our metal material and we can create an electric current. But once again though, like I feel like this is something that was not new. Like or this was new, I'm sorry, to the fact that we had you just lit a wooden stick on fire to light a torch to get out.
I think in the past we've had like a lantern or something to do fire and light things with, so it's not completely foreign. But the idea that the stick burns out and you have time limit to, do that makes things in areas like puzzles that you wouldn't think of normally.
Yeah, and it was just building on to what had already been started. I guess talking about that, what you just did there. There's a stupid heart in that little chest, and you think it's kind of a waste. But actually, I think it guided you there for that golden spider. You want to explain what those golden spiders are in this game? Because they're different than these guys.
They are one of the few collectibles of the game, aside from money. And there's these guys, you'll run across them in Kakariko Village that are cursed. And if you collect enough of them, it breaks the curse, and they give you good items for doing that quest, if you will. Okay, here goes my first attempt. Wish me luck. I failed this part.
This up. You're live, man. People are watching this.
Yeah, I overshoot it all the time. I got it. Small victories.
That's right. Good job. So now we are at the under section, which is again crazy because you're just thinking, well, this tree is really high up. Now you're all of a sudden you just opened up a whole new territory to the game.
When you know that there's a gold Skulltula and you can't quite reach it.
Yes. Beautiful. Good job. Good shots.
Thank you. Now, I think you can get all of them in this stage, in this area. All the gold Skulltulas.
You should be able to, yeah.
I don't think you run into ones you can't grab until the second dungeon.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Oh, look at that. It's a torch, Ryan. What are you oh, in a chest. What do you think we have to do with that?
Let's see. Are there any webs around here? There we go. Yeah.
I don't know if it was originally like.
Oh no!
Do people really struggle that much with this game, where they need hearts like that, or is it just because we've played it so many times that it's kind of silly to even think about losing a life?
It's as a kid you did this all the time, and so they gave that to help you get through these parts because you just didn't understand that stuff. Like it was hard.
There's just a lot of them.
Natural talent for it, but most people, this is their first Zelda game at the time, or their first 3D experience, and they had to figure all that out, and so they did lose a lot of lives at first because they didn't know to use their shield right, and maybe going through text because you just didn't have the attention span. Like,
right.
You could speed through the text and not even read it, and then you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, and then get frustrated. Like they give you things to help you with that.
Well, these Deku guys, I'm sure it's not. You just blocked his Deku nut, sent it right back to him. That's not something a newer foreign person would know how to do.
23 is number 1.
Is that code different every time you play the game?
No, it's always 23 is number 1. Everything I've done anyway. I don't know if it's different in Master Quest or not, or if they did something even similar to that.
I didn't know if it was just a randomized event there. If you get into the water, if you hold down A, you can die, but there's some interesting things underwater.
So water as a kid was my bane. Like in original Super Mario Brothers, I couldn't figure out how to swim. In this one, I couldn't figure out how to dive. Like I'd press the A button and it wouldn't go deep enough, and so I was like, I can't do this, and I'd repeatedly press the button, it wouldn't work. So what I did as a kid, my uncle's kind of helped me through this, and he couldn't figure it out either, and I would learn how to do the backflip. and I tried to backflip
Just
over
like that.
and it never worked, ever. But I was convinced that's how you did it because I couldn't figure out how to get under there. I'd hit the button, and I'd only have like 3 seconds of breathing, is what I understood it as.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I can't do that. Like how do you get that? I didn't realize you had to hold it down. Like, I know it says it, but I didn't read at the time very well.
No, I think I can even remember struggling with this part as well, Ryan. Like, just didn't know. But again, it's one of those things you love because it's teaching you how to play this game for the first time.
And I remember, I think it was my uncle that figured that one out. Oh no!
Jeez.
I made it.
Good job.
Those things are so terrifying as a kid. Oh, they gave me uber creeps.
Yeah, they're pretty scary. Especially if you don't like spiders. They're so massive. Stand next to this block, grab, hold it, press A. Okay, thanks for the tip, Navi.
You know, basic tutorial stuff. Like, Navi is your tutorial guide. Through the rest of the adventure, you don't have the Kokiri teaching you how to do things. Navi is your companion through the whole adventure. For better or for worse. I'm of the camp that Navi's good. Like, Navi is not that annoying. Like, I love Navi a lot. And so I think that, like, Navi and Link Forever, I ship them. Like, not like relationship, but, you know, friendship.
It's kind of interesting that you've never really had a fairy companion in any other Zelda game.
You can, you can get fairies to heal you, but this is the first time you had one carry around.
Not like Navi as a character, though. I mean, I guess in Majora's Mask you had another fairy, but it wasn't Navi.
And it wasn't your fairy then either. So, Tattle, was it?
Yeah. I mean, it was to take the same place as Navi, but I wish Nintendo would actually like explain what happened to Navi, like where she went. That would be a really cool game to expand upon. Maybe Link finally did find her or something.
Now, one thing I have to do here. Take these guys out.
Snap. What are these, Ryan? Ugh. This round room with some spiderwebs are kind of blocked off, and these creatures are falling from the ceiling. It's kind of a
two-legged with like a feather thing on their head. That's what I thought. Like
it's kind of a tease of what's to come.
Run fast. Never make it in time.
I swear, I think that's happened to me too, man. Nice effort.
I think that wall behind the
can be blown up.
Plant can be blown up, but at this point in the game, you can't do anything with that.
Yeah. Unless is there a bomb pile here?
No, you can't even pick up bombs at this point.
Wow. Well, I didn't know if you could light one. I guess so. Can you come back to this later on in the game?
It's got a different sound to it as well, so I think that you can bomb it, but I don't know. I've never gone back and tried. Maybe it's just a false wall and something they never used in the code.
I can't remember. I would be curious once we can bomb to go back and bomb it and see if there's something behind it.
Anybody in the chat have any idea?
Yeah, watch it do something like a heart.
I don't think it's a heart piece because I've collected everything in the game, like the strategy guides and stuff. I don't remember mention of that.
No, I mean like a simple little heart.
Oh, you mean like okay.
Your health.
I don't know. Okay, I think it might be an unused element in the game. I could be wrong.
Kind of like the ice key from Banjo-Kazooie.
Just like that.
Just like that. So now what? We gotta light up this spider web, huh?
Yep. All of the torches are too high up here, so they make you have to go over here and use the old torch.
Test your skills a little bit. Again, you're that's a little detail that I didn't even really realize. You gotta roll though.
Wrong
You gotta
button.
roll. What are you doing?
I hit the wrong button.
Oh my gosh, Ryan, how old are you?
Hey, if I was playing with an N64
Played
controller,
this
I could do
game,
this.
right?
If I was playing with an N64 controller, I'd know what I'm doing. Yeah, I just played this last
Oh,
week. Shh, be quiet.
oh, okay. There you go. Now you're looking like a pro. This is your new main in Smash Bros. Ultimate. Young
Yep.
Link.
Yep. Yep, we go way back. Oh, I'm glad that there was water there to break my
And there's
fall.
a deeper section. So mind-blowing. How deep does this thing go?
So let's take a look at the map here. I went the wrong way, of course. So you've got, according to this, you've got 5 floors, 3 F and 2 Bs. Interesting that they highlighted like that, but you can go to the different levels and see, oh yeah, I've been to every area except for I missed the chest somewhere. I don't know what that was about, but I'm not doing a completionist run here, so.
But it always shows you the little skull where the final boss is, which is something that's been in other Zelda games before this, which I always felt like kind of gives you this, I don't know, this sense of to be fearful, to know that the big baddie boss that could kill you is on this level. Like you're so close.
Yeah.
I remember that always kind of filling me with anxiety as a kid. I mean, heck, you can get in even now with gaming. It's not like I'm not terrified. I want to win the battle. I don't know what's ahead. I don't know how to take on this villain. So just seeing that little skull symbol would always bug me. All right, Ryan. Wow. Here we go.
All right, boss time.
Entered the dungeon. Not the gungeon, the dungeon. You come into this room, the cutscene starts.
So I know there's a fast way to take down Goma. I don't recall it. But let's see how I do.
The door slams behind you. What is happening? You're just a kid. You're just a kid, man. This is your first.
You can't really do anything. You can walk around, nothing happens, but you see the stuff dropping from the ceiling. You're like, oh, maybe I'll look up.
You hear it.
Oh. It's got a divide symbol. It's gonna divide you in half.
Yeah. Gahoma, parasitic armored arachnid. Okay. Did you just lay the law down with the Deku nut on it?
A little bit.
Again, I did not use those as a kid. So explain this fight, Ryan. Was it tough for you to figure out when you first? Oh my gosh, that was easy. I thought this was a boss fight.
So they're pretty easy at this point in time.
I don't think it was that easy when you originally fought it.
No, not at all. Like, because there's a stage, like, if you hurt him enough, it'll drop more of those little eye Goma things, the baby Gomas or whatever.
Yeah. So when you do the, look at that blue on this one. Look at this pink heart. So they're just like, what is this heart?
This reminds me of Smash Brothers. I know this was here first, but like just seeing this reminds me of like, I've got to get it. Got to get my 100% back.
Yeah. I love collecting those. It always is a great feeling to see your health just expand a little bit. I love that feature in every Zelda game. It's a beautiful thing.
You get this pretty plain arena, and like taking down Goma is, I mean, they intended it for it to be up in stages, but if you just really are aggressive, you can take it down pretty easily. Like I showed you there, like it's not that hard to take him down. All right, let's exit.
Yeah, I was surprised at how quick you beat him, man. That was pretty good. Good job.
Thank you.
Well done, Link.
Thou hast verily demonstrated thy courage. I knew that thou wouldst be able to carry out my wishes. Now I have yet more to tell ye. Wouldst thou listen?
Yes. Have you ever said no? Like, does that does
I
that
think he
do
just
anything?
says like, I have to tell you anyway or something. Like I think it's kind of a forced thing. I
Like,
don't want to say no now though.
yeah, no, don't do that. Wicked man of the desert, cast this dreadful curse upon me. So I think now he's really explaining the depth of this curse.
I think he mentioned there was a curse, but he didn't say how dire it was.
Right.
There he is. Ganondorf.
It's so cool though, because like again, we mentioned this, like there was no Ganondorf before this. It always was this pig Ganon that you didn't get to the very end of the game. And Ganondorf allowed for there to be dialogue, for there to be more depth added to the villain as a character. You know, he's more involved. You see him throughout the whole story, which I think, in my opinion, made Zelda seem a lot more interesting of a series.
So now they're talking about the origin story. Really sets up the background for the game with the three goddesses. They look like what are the Oscars or whatever? They're like golden statues, like having like
Yeah.
their hands like in a prayer symbol or whatever across their chests and like plummeted to the earth or the void and expanse. Faeror, Nehru, and Din. So they're basically, this is their Zelda's creation story, and creation story has changed through different Zeldas somewhat.
It's gotten more detailed.
Got modified in some ways, different tellings of the creation story. But I mean, in our world, we have different tellings of creation stories too. So it's not far flung to know it. Like in this universe, this world, like the accounts get muddled after a while.
Sure.
If they don't have like written text and stuff, which I don't remember there being a library in these games. Do you remember any books or anything like that that are more common?
No, not in this one. Obviously, Skyward Sword does the best at explaining everything and really gives a full detailed look at stuff, but such a great cutscene.
Take off and then turn into this thing in the sky.
The Triforce, the three great goddesses, their labors completed, departed.
They just become this protector of the world that they create. And it's like raining all around it, like it's a brand new day, and it's a beautiful, beautiful scene.
Again, this is the intro into 3D gaming for many people. That cutscene was like top of the line stuff. It's amazing.
Thou must never suffer that man with his evil heart to enter the sacred realm of legend. That evil man who cast the death curse upon me and sapped my power. Because of that curse, my end is nigh. So this was me as a little kid dealing with death and feeling so sad that the Deku Tree is dying. But that's not where they stop right there, you know. I will pass away soon, but do not grieve for me. Like, dealing with death as a kid, like, oh, this is hard. I remember showing this scene to my cousin. I don't know why, like, I wanted someone else to have an emotional connection like I had. When this tree passes away, you know. Having, like, all the color drain from him, it's so sad. I hope there's nobody watching this that's never seen Ocarina of Time before, because spoilers.
You've had time. Sorry, not sorry. The stone with you, the stone that man wanted. Wow.
All for that little green stone, that little 4-leaf or 3-leaf clover.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not really. It's just a spiral. I don't know. It looks like a comma. What do you think?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so pretty though. The green gem look. Reminds me of Jello, like shiny Jello. I'm crazy. Thou art courageous. Yes. sends Navi off to carry out the Deku Tree's will. I entreat ye, Navi. Goodbye. And then as he dies, you see the leaves start to fall off and the color just drains up from him. And he turns almost petrified. Oh.
Go to Hyrule Castle, Link.
Goodbye, great Deku Tree.
It is sad. I mean, to this point, he's been the intro into this game. He's been the storyteller, the narrator of the story, and now we're leaving. That old time. Yeah, you just slice this dude up. He's still annoying in your way.
What did you do? Did he die? How could you do a thing like that? It's all your fault.
So let's just head out of here real quick and have our interaction with Saria, and it's just a deep little interaction that you get because it plays a bigger role with that character down the road. And then we can save it and do our due diligence, Ryan.
Yeah, sure thing, man.
Oh, you're leaving. She's sad. You can tell. I knew. Go ahead.
You would leave the forest someday, Link. Because you are different from me and my friends. But that's okay, because we'll be friends forever, won't we? I hate to tell it to you, girl, but such a tragic story. I want you to have this ocarina. Please take good care of it. As a kid, I would call it Ocarina. I'm sorry, Ocarina is how I would pronounce it, and I would fight to the bitter end if anyone called it differently.
Ocarina.
It sounded like Macarena to me, and so I didn't want to think it was called that. Aww.
The fairy ocarina. Memento Saria. Yeah, Saria. I think that's what I called her too. Not Sarah. And it just teaches you how to play it here, obviously, and we know by now how to play this dang instrument. But
when you play my ocarina, I hope you will think of me and come back to the forest to visit. It just seems a little awkward. He just stands there and is like, "Well, I'm gonna run away now."
It's like, thanks, bye. I feel like she had like almost romantic feelings for Link. Like she kind of had a crush on him, and she's sad because she's like, I know that you have to move on now.
And that's reading between the lines and projecting. That's, shipping, if you will. But, I kind of felt that same way too.
Little field. Wow, look at that gorgeous field, which we'll go into more detail next week, Ryan. So why don't you go ahead and you can save the game here, and then we can do some due diligence and be on our way.
All right, man. All right, you guys can find us over at the Nintendo Village, nintendovillage.com/Nintendo Nostalgia. You can find us on Apple Podcasts and Google Play. You can also watch us now on YouTube Live. You can find us on our Facebook, facebook.com/NintendoNOS, on our Twitter at Nintendo_NOS. Mm-hmm. Shoot us an email at nintendonostalgiain@gmail.com. And you can also find us on our Instagram over at NintendoNOSIN. And a unique feature to our show, you can call into a hotline and share your nostalgic memories of Legend of Zelda with us. That number is 317-969-5690. That brings us to the end of this episode, and we will see you next week for part 2. Later.
Bye, guys. Have a great one.